And away we go. It is the BCJ podcast, brought to you by the Holy Grail right here on BearcatJournal.com. Make sure you are heading down to the Holy Grail. Maybe it's for a Bearcats road game, joining us in one of our watch parties. Maybe it's on a Sunday, a Bengals Sunday. You're heading down and you're hanging out at the banks. Whatever it may be, make sure you stop by and support the people that support us. Get yourself some Reuben wontons, maybe some delicious pizza like I had on Saturday night. It was one of the few things that went right about Saturday night. But whatever it is, get down to the Holy Grail. You'll have a great time, and you will support those that are supporting us. Hi, David.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I mean, I'm pretty good. I always like when there are those days that prove that we know what the hell we're talking about. Today was definitely one of those days. So that's always a plus.
We have a special guest tonight.
No special guest tonight?
No, we have one.
Oh.
You see that little?
Oh, it's Pickle.
Yeah, someone decided to jump up here.
Grace us with her presence.
It's been a minute.
I know. I was tweeting. Twixing. I was twixing. How was Halloween at the Simone family household?
It was good. It was cold.
Yeah.
But it was good.
I took the shortcut, Dave.
What's that?
Never done it before, but I got home late. I was in a bad mood. It was cold. I didn't really feel like starting a fire in the driveway. So I just did the candy in a bowl on the porch.
Just left it?
Yep. Help yourself. Not feeling it.
Some people in our neighborhood, I guess, did that, and whoever the last kids were took the bowl too.
Luckily, I did not put a good bowl out. So
they were like, you can take as much candy as you want, but you didn't need to take the bowl too.
Can we have the bowl back? Jeez, kids these days.
Got some hoodlums out here on the east side.
Yeah, so Kelsey spent the night with a friend and did the whole trick or treat thing in her friend's neighborhood. So she asked me to stop by and pick up her bag of candy because she didn't want to take it to school today. And she's like, "Bring it home. Like, don't touch anything." And I was like, "Okay, you just gave me a Christmas list. I'll remember not to touch anything on that either." And she's like, "No, I'm just kidding. You can have all the candy you want. It's fine."
Did she go as Taylor Swift?
No, she went as Travis Kelce. Her friend went as Taylor Swift.
Okay, got it.
So she got the painted on beard and her Travis Kelce jersey and the whole 9 yards. Kids.
Yeah.
Kids. So yeah, it was all right. It was all right. I guess let's get to it. And I guess we'll just do an entire Big 12 segment here. I have a feeling we're not going to have much to say about Oklahoma State.
Oh yeah, I have zero to say about it. I have not thought about that game for one single
Sunday morning.
Second post 11 a.m. Sunday morning.
Yeah. This Big 12 segment brought to you by Team Ticker. It's a one-of-a-kind sports sign for Bearcats. It's high-tech. It's got a retro display that provides daily updates, the latest news, stats, schedules, much more. No subscription required. You're looking for the perfect addition to your man cave, your dorm room. Christmas is coming. A gift for that special Bearcats fan. Go to teamticker.com. Pick up your Team Ticker today. I've got the C-Paul. Aaron has the Bearcat. It's easy to hang. It plays the fight song at game time. That got Aaron today. I guess they played the fight song at tip-off of the women's exhibition game.
Sure
So you just all of a sudden in your house, the fight song was rocking?
Yeah. I was like, that's not Bluey. What's going on?
it actually explains a lot because I wasn't thinking that they would play it for like all of the sports, but just randomly it will play. And now it's clicking that it's like a men's soccer game or a volleyball match or whatever. It plays the fight song. So,
men's soccer's not a thing.
I know I was being a smartass, but
club hockey.
Yeah. Club hockey. But yeah, teamticker.com. Get your team ticker today or put it on your Christmas list.
Do that too.
Delightful. All right, much better. All right, let's get to it, Dave. That was as bad a half as we've seen in a long time.
Not great, Bob.
Dating back to, I don't know. That has to go back to 2017 since we've seen something like that. What was it? 35-6 in the second half?
Yeah, I guess so. Like I said, I haven't really given it much thought.
I don't even. There's no good to take. I mean, yeah, the running backs were solid,
but that's been the case all year. But the whole point of having a great running game is that you're in the lead and you can wear teams down and milk the clock and limit possessions and all of that. But I mean, it doesn't do you any good if you're down 3 at half and then you're down 24 halfway through the third quarter. Great, you ran for 200 something yards again,
almost 300 again.
Doesn't matter.
Number 6 in the country in rushing, and you're 2-6.
Yeah.
You know what? This occurred to me today, Dave. That looked like the entire philosophy of a Luke Fickell led Cincinnati team in the American Athletic Conference, didn't it? You just kind of jostle with them in the first half, and then by the time halftime rolls around, you come out and you dominate the second half and absolutely just bury an opponent. Like that's how it was supposed to be drawn up in the Fickell era in the American. And Oklahoma State said, Toto, you're not in the American anymore, and we're going to do that to you here because they were bigger, they were stronger, they were faster. Like it was abundantly clear that they had the advantage in pretty much every aspect.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've talked quite a bit of, about the trenches and especially the offensive tackle position and needing to just be a bigger, stronger, longer units to compete week in and week out in the Big 12. But I think the thing that I'm seeing, especially at the positions that speed matters the most, is
doesn't have a lot of it.
There's just not really any of it. Whether it's receivers are fast enough and good enough to get open, or DBs are fast enough and good enough to run with other teams' receivers.
Yeah, the outside there just is not a lot of juice right now. And whatever you want to attribute that to, it's just not there. I mean, it's pretty easy.
I'm kind of to the point, I don't really give a rip what you want to attribute it to. I'll just be like, sure. I'll just say it's not there, so I don't really care what explanation you want to put behind it. It doesn't really matter.
I mean, the only thing that we know for sure is that there was high-end college and /NFL level talent at those positions as recently as a year or two ago, and now it is very clearly all gone.
Yeah, I mean, the most confounding thing to me from that game specifically was that Oklahoma State was not good at stopping the pass. We talked about it on last week, Wednesday. We talked about it on Sunday, obviously post game, but they were not good against the pass. And we could not, outside of one catch and run by Xavier Henderson, couldn't do literally anything in the pass game. Now that is an all-encompassing comment. That is a quarterback, wide receiver, line, play call. That is a all-encompassing offensive comment, but could not do anything against a team that has been bad stopping the pass, against the passing juggernaut offenses of West Virginia, Kansas State, and Iowa State.
Yeah, I don't know if could not is the right word though, Dave. Because they didn't try. They threw 5 passes in the first half. Yeah. The first one was the one Xavier Henderson ran for 50 yards or whatever.
Right.
The first pass, that was the first pass of the game. They threw it 4 more times and went 1 for 4 the rest of the half. I haven't disagreed too much with like Satterfield's press conferences. Because I generally think like he's being honest from his perspective. Saying that it was the weather, I didn't see them have that issue.
No, that's what I said Sunday morning. I said Alan Bowman was completely fine. He wasn't outstanding, but the guy threw for almost 300 yards. Like he was a shade over 50%. He obviously had some throws that got away from him, just like they got away from us, probably due to the weather. But like, he had no problem hooking up with a Division III All-American transfer several times well down the field. The weather wasn't affecting that.
No. I mean, they went over the top regularly. To me, Dave, and I said this on Monday, to me, it is a very clear signal that they do not trust Emory Jones in the passing game right now. I don't know how else you could take it.
Right. Then, and I'm not really necessarily disagreeing, but then my follow-up would be then why is he still playing?
Right. Again, they very clearly, I think, and we'll get to this in the next down the road, but they clearly feel he gives them the best chance to win.
I mean, but
I
get that, and I have pounded the table for like you don't make a change unless you feel like the backup deserves it because they are playing at a level that will help you win. At the same time, I feel like the quarterback position is maybe slightly different to where it doesn't take a genius to go, this guy's just not getting it done. Like it's, the second game or third game where we barely crack 100, barely cracks 100 yards passing. Like in 2023 college football, it's just not like I'll kind of wash it out against Iowa State, even though still to not even get 100 yards is ridiculous. But like this week is the one that crystallized it for me in a game that was 10-7 at halftime against a team that literally cannot stop the pass. And you can't do better than 6 for 16 for 117 yards and a touchdown or an interception, excuse me.
Yeah. It's got to be one of two things, right? It has to be either A, the coaching staff is losing trust in having Emory Jones be a passing quarterback, or B, Emory Jones is losing trust in himself to be a passing quarterback. right? It has to be one of those two things.
I mean, I think it's both, right?
Right. But those are the two options. So my guess is Emory Jones will be the starter on Saturday. The way that Satterfield answered my question about it didn't sound like a coach that was ready to make a change at starting quarterback.
I mean, he the press conference and then at the coaches show, we know how coaches are in college. Like, they're not going to let anything known before the game starts.
I know. I still did not get the sense he was leaning towards changing quarterbacks quite yet. Now, I would guess some of that is there's 4 games left. There are 4 games from bowl eligibility. I think you want to show your team you have the faith in them to accomplish that while it is still on the table. And I don't think that's wrong. I understand where that is coming from. My point being, in all of this, you can run the ball. So what is missing is the ability to throw the ball, and you have a quarterback that is a throwing, a pocket passing, throwing quarterback behind him. We saw Lichty do some good things in his time that he was allowed, and I think it's time. I mean, I understand if they want to push this off another game or whatever the case may be, but
players aren't blind though. Like, they,
right,
the whole, like, if I just like it's just like with the job or something. Like, you see a coworker that you're like, this dude ain't doing nothing, but yet the boss keeps giving him like the plum clients or something, or like players are just like, man, like, what is going on here? Like, we keep running this, and that is to my point of, I don't see anything. So I could sit here and say Brady Lichtenberg should start, and that is purely based on the unsuccessfulness of Emory Jones. But I'm saying that without any idea of Brady Lichtenberg being a better or equal to option.
Right.
But at this point, I'm like, when you can't throw the ball against a poor pass defense team, I'm left to go, well, how could he be worse?
Right.
Like, you're not moving the ball at all in the passing game. Like, legitimately, how could he be worse? Was he going to throw more interceptions? I mean, Emory already leads the conference in interceptions. Are they going to not score in the red zone? They already don't score in the red zone. Like, so why not? Give me the reasons, and this is rhetorical, give me the reasons why he shouldn't be starting.
Yeah. I'm at the point where I'm with you. There had been at least signs of life in the passing game at times where Emory's gotten a little bit like in a rhythm and they moved the ball down the field. But I'm not against the worst pass defense in the conference in a 10-7 game.
Second worst. We can't go against ourselves.
Well, the worst pass defense in the conference, not Cincinnati. I don't know. Something is disconnected. Like, that's what I know. If you throw the ball and it wasn't a torrential downpour, it was a slight mist. I mean, that's the thing you have to wonder now, Josh. Like, if Brady's not a better option now, he'll never be good enough to start here in the coach's eyes. That's a fair question or a fair statement.
Yes.
They're on a 6-game losing streak. You have 2 home games left. I don't think you want to start a guy that's never started a game on the road. I think you'd much rather start him at home. And you have that chance this week, and I don't think we're going to see it. I think we'll see Emory Jones take the first snap.
Well, yeah.
How much Brady plays, I don't know.
against a team that unquestionably cannot stop the run. So it would seem to me to behoove them to play a quarterback who might be able to help them move the ball in the air, because then maybe you could have some complementary offensive success.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're pretty good against the pass, right? Like, at least not as bad as they are stopping the run.
It's hard to be as bad as they are against the run and the pass at the same time. You can only run one play at a time.
It's just, I don't know, Dave. I look at it and I don't see, Emery's not going to be here next year. And I get a coach that says we owe it to the guys that are here to do everything we can to win. But if that were the case, coaches would be on 1-year contracts.
Right. And that was
He's not on a 1-year contract.
That was my main point Sunday morning was it's in his, as in Scott Satterfield's best interest, in his staff's best interest, to play the Bradys to find out if either of them can play. One, to tell us yes they can, or two, to say we probably got to go find another quarterback. So the more you play Emory Jones, the fewer chances you have to get an answer to that question. And you're deliberately,
and it's kind of an important question.
You're deliberately and intentionally limiting your data points, which makes no damn sense.
Yeah. And look, I don't think this is I don't think we're at the point, Dave, where this is a sign of giving up on the season. Like, I think we have passed that point. This is more, we need to move the ball through the air. Like, we have to be
I don't think
more confident passing the ball.
Changing the quarterback and keeping the rest of the offense the same is a sign of a give up. I think it's a sign of where, for moments and for fits and starts, we've been in all of these games. Maybe this is a chance to be in these games longer, or to win these games, or, it's not like, I'm not saying play Brady along with a whole bunch of other freshmen and sophomores or juniors that never see the field. Like, no, play the quarterback or quarterbacks with the starters.
Yeah.
Give them the offensive line, give them Corey and Miles, give them see what happens then.
The Drogosh thing, for now, I don't think he's developing as a passer. He's not a guy that's going to come in and instantly significantly upgrade your passing game, at least from what we know of him.
Probably.
And he's also been taking third team reps since fall. So I'm taking Brady Drogosh for now. I'm taking him out of the equation.
Yeah. I was just saying it on Sunday.
No, I know.
It's like, if you really want to know what you have, you got to actually see the guys play against the teams you're trying to beat. It doesn't really matter if it's in practice or if it's in the spring. That is not going to give you a good enough answer.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. 130%. So, yeah, we don't need to rehash, I don't think, much more on Oklahoma State, other than that was a whipping in the second half.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a whipping.
It's a whole offensive thing, so I'm not laying this at Emory's feet, but there's a clear distinction in what they can do on the ground versus what they can do or try to do through the air. So I'm just kind of left. Just if he runs him out there for the majority of the snaps, or if the game is, say it's a similar, UC's losing again in the third or fourth quarter, and you put Brady in, I'm kind of just you just wasted a data point. The outcome might have been exactly the same, but that would have told you more about your team and your team's future than what you decided to do.
Yeah.
And I don't love doing that, because, like you said, there's a lot of dudes that have poured a lot into this program whether they're older or younger. I mean, like, and that would be a sign of like, we're trying to see what we have for future years, but you're the damn coach and you're the one making the millions of dollars. Like, you're in charge. You need to do the things that you think you need to do to win football games and keep your job. It's not really about what a fifth or sixth year senior, what the last 3 games or 4 games of their college career is.
Yeah, especially you're on a 6-game losing streak. Like,
yeah,
changing your underwear ain't gonna work.
Like, no one's gonna get mad if you started Brady Lichtenberg and the game went the same way that all the other ones have gone. They would,
right.
You can at least say, like, I need to have an idea of what we have, because obviously Emory Jones is not coming back. So, you got to find out.
Your data point is the most important data point of the Big 12 season, though, Dave. They haven't had a lead in the second half of a game.
Yeah.
5 Big 12 games. They have led 0 of them after halftime. Not 1 second. They haven't even been tied, have they?
I don't know.
I don't believe they've even been tied.
Well, they certainly weren't against Oklahoma or Iowa State. It was 17-7 at halftime of Baylor. 10 to no, I don't think so.
I don't think they've even been tied in the second half of a game. So while we can try to find as many pluses or positive signs or whatever you want, the reality is they haven't been close to good enough. And that's not us shitting on kids. That's not us shitting on coaching staffs. That is us doing what our job is. Our job is to talk about what happens.
You watch the games. It's not, you don't need to be 300 or level or 400 level football savant to dissect what's been going on.
Mike McDaniels is not needed. They haven't had a lead. They haven't been tied in the second half of 5 Big 12 games. That means unequivocally, you're not good enough. And you have to figure out what you need to do to be better. They're not going to get to good enough, I don't think, this year.
No.
So you have to take whatever steps you feel are necessary to get better. They have started trying to mix in some different looks, some different guys. We saw some Kalen Carroll. We saw some Raekwon Atkins. Jonathan Thompson has been a starter for a couple weeks. We saw some Brian Sims, I believe, which was a good sign.
You were clearly paying closer attention than myself at that point.
There wasn't a whole lot else to do, Dave.
I think I was watching. I had the quad box rolling. I'm pretty sure.
They are trying to play to get a look at some younger guys. Most of those were not quality looks.
And it's hard. Like,
yeah.
It's hard in those situations. Like, you're down a ton, and you're like, "Hey, buddy, go in there, give it your old college try." And that's
35-7. Go get them.
That's why I'm more inclined to, especially in the quarterback situation, like, give them the first team reps. Let them get on the game plan. Let them tell you in practice, this is what I feel real comfortable doing. This is what I like. I'm okay running, but it's not my favorite. This is what I just don't feel comfortable at all. Let them develop rapport with receivers. Let them, the line, figure out how he calls a game versus how Emory, like, there's so much that goes into it to be successful versus just, all right, go out there, and then hope to God that, you're not going to be successful that way. So no, it'll be interesting because these next 2 games, obviously, it has been what it's been. You can use whatever adjectives you like. But at times it has been very ugly for our next two opponents as well. So what kind of measuring stick will these next two games show us? And that's not necessarily a measuring stick to the rest of the Big 12, but it'll certainly
Clearly
tell
not.
us. It'll
Clearly
certainly
not.
It could certainly tell us a couple things. One, okay. The other, by God.
Yeah. I'm at a point, Dave. I'll even accept two close games to the end, two back and forth games decided in the fourth quarter. I'm good. I'm down. Give me some, like these fourth quarters have been hard to watch, bro. Like it's dun 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 dun.
Death March.
Yeah. Imperial Death March. We left the Holy Grail before the end of the third quarter with enough time to walk through the banks, get to the car, and be out of the parking garage, headed to the expressway by the time the fourth quarter started. What was there left to, like, you know, what was there left to see at that point in time?
Not much.
All right, let's talk about the Knights of Gold. Ugh. I guess we'll, real quick, that's a turtle fruit timestamp. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, bourbon-infused sweet tea, lemonade, cherry lime, raspberry peach, orange vanilla, strawberry mint, 50 locations in greater Cincinnati. Visit turtlesbrew.com for information and where you can pick up yours. Portion of the proceeds go to Save the Sea Turtles. They are in Toledo and expanding now in Central Ohio, as well as here in the greater Cincinnati area. 6% ABV. And the way this is going, it's the perfect complement to a bottle of bourbon. It has bourbon,
but you need more.
You're probably gonna need some more.
It's like you don't even need to ask me about the over/under this week.
No,
you could
whatever the over is, you're gonna hit it.
20 and a half.
That might just be Jello shots.
Yeah.
All right, give us the rundown. I guess we'll start with the Central Florida offense.
I mean, I don't really even like this. Is so much just about UC at this point, like, because it doesn't really matter, right? Like,
well, but wait, it's a podcast, so it has to matter.
So the quarterback everybody is familiar with, John Rice Plumlee. He threw 3 interceptions last week against West Virginia. I'm scared shitless about him running the ball, and also them doing the little read option where he kind of like fakes like he's going to run, and then the receiver slips behind the DB and he kind of like throws it over his head. So that's terrifying. RJ Harvey, very quality tailback. What's his name? Kobe Hudson, and what's the other receiver's name is escaping me right now. Alabama transfer, but they're of quality. I don't really think offense has really been their problem other than turnovers. Defense has been the issue, but you know, they have plenty of speed on offense still. With Plumlee's probably might be their fastest player, but you know, they'll cycle in several backs. They have, you know, receivers that are quality. So unless we figure out something different, from a defensive standpoint, you know, it was, and this goes back to what we've talked about before of like, you know, you have some corners that at times struggle to keep guys in front of them, but then we're still pressing. And I'm just left a little confused of if we can't keep receivers from getting behind us, whether it's because we're bad at jamming them, or whatever the reason is, then why are we putting the corners right up in their face?
Maybe they're worse at standing still and letting them run by.
I mean, but you would at least
The Alabama
if you
transfer, is it Gerard Baker, Trent Whittemore,
Javon Baker,
Gerard, or Javon?
Javon
They have,
Baker.
they have two Bakers, so
No, it's Javon Baker.
Okay.
At least if you did that, maybe you tackle them and you have death by 1,000 cuts instead of death by Mike Tyson punch out.
Yeah, I just think they would still line up and just run, and then also still run by.
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer there is,
I
other
mean,
than an overhaul.
Unless you
Like, Dave, serious question. Does it feel like the cornerback room is at a similar point that we saw the wide receiver room in, what was that, 2019? Where they said, we have to start over.
Yeah.
Like this is a room that requires 8-10 guys, and we have to hit reset.
Well, I mean, like, who of the ones that we have seen, I'm going to leave out some because we just haven't seen them play.
Yeah.
Like, who do you feel good about for next year?
Who do you feel good about for next year?
No one.
Right. Well, that wide receiver room did have a young Alec Pierce in it. So
I mean, he was in the room. He was a special teams player at that point.
Right. He was in the room.
But that's why I'm saying, like,
right.
Some of these young guys, whether it's Ken Willis, Kellen Carroll, somebody else, like, they might be, but I haven't seen
Ken
them.
Willis is at the star position now. Like, he's not even in the cornerback room anymore.
I haven't seen them play enough to be like to have an opinion one way or the other.
Right.
Playing some meaningless snaps at the end of the Oklahoma State game, I'm not going to use that as my barometer of if you're going to end up being a good player or not.
It was a rough debut for Kalen Carroll.
Yeah, but the thing I was thinking about this the other day. Going into the season, what our expectations were and our hopes were about certain positions, I have been given what our expectations were and what our concerns and or like positives were. Am I wrong in saying that, like, the offensive line has been better than the defensive line? Given what
I don't think you're right.
Given what we thought coming in.
Well, the defensive line is exactly what I thought coming in. They were going to be outstanding against the run, and they weren't going to live up to the billing against the pass because they didn't have a true edge guy. That was my take.
Yeah, I mean, that was
my take.
We were being outstanding against the run until Ollie Gordon, but I mean, he's a pretty special dude right now.
Yeah.
But I just expect.
But the offensive line has been bad against the pass, good against the run.
We hear every opposing coach talk about how great the defense. This is the best defensive line that we're going to play. I'm still waiting for them to have that game where it's like, yeah, that's the best defensive line you played all year.
Well, they did that against Pitt, and they haven't seen it since. That's what we expected. Even in the passing game, they bullied Pitt's offensive line.
Right.
They just dummied them, threw them around.
We can talk all we want about the corners not being able to cover. The D-line ain't exactly helping them out.
No. And that's what you had to have. If you're down at corner, your defensive line has to bail them out, has to save them.
And offensively, we thought the tackles would struggle.
Yeah.
And at times they have, and at other times I think they've been fine.
Solid. Yeah,
solid. I wouldn't even go solid. I would just say fine.
Fine.
So it's I'm at some point, when was the last time we got a true sack
Well,
like
there is one other key component to that, Dave. They're not playing with the lead. Like,
for sure.
like when you watch the Bengals, their defensive line is drastically different playing from
100%.
behind and playing with the lead.
When you're not worried about the guy running the ball at you for the most part, yes, I totally agree and understand that.
I would tend to agree with you, but I would also say we have no idea what they look like. Like the last time we saw them play with the lead was Pitt, and they dominated that game.
So just do that. Just do that again.
Get a lead.
Just run the Pitt game plan. Like literally the exact same plays. Run them this week. see what happens. Offensive and defensive. We're going to call the exact same plays on the exact same downs.
Well, the other part is because they haven't been able to play with the lead, they're playing a shit ton of drop 8.
Yeah.
They're not blitzing and being aggressive and being a Brian Brown defense because they're getting their ass kicked.
I think, but even in the first half, like, turn it up, man. You've lost 6 freaking games in a row. Turn up the juice. Like, what else is going to happen? They're going to throw another ball over your head for a touchdown? I
wonder if they worry they just, like, the guys that they do blitz get picked up. Like, there's no Ivan Pace that just...
Use other guys. See what happens.
Yeah.
Like...
You know, do you remember a corner or a safety blitz in the past month?
I'm sure there's been some, but nothing jumps.
Doesn't matter if there's been one. I'm asking if you remember one because you remember the shit that works.
Certainly not. Certainly don't remember.
I guess you can't blitz a corner.
I mean, I don't know if
worse than them being in coverage.
No, I mean, I certainly don't. Hold on, talk for a second. I'm looking up something.
Okay. You're seeing them play out of necessity. Like at times, score remaining time.
Here's what I wanted to look up. Like we talk about.
I'm glad I filled that 4 seconds.
Sorry, I was able to find it. I was able to find it faster than I thought.
Fuck's sake.
Like you talked about playing with the lead. Alan Bowman still threw the ball 34 times.
Yep.
So it's not like they played with the lead and he went, 13 for 21.
Right.
He still threw the ball 34 damn times playing with the lead.
The whole game. Playing with the lead.
Yeah.
The whole game.
I mean, Blake Shapen, Baylor game, threw it 42 times. And then we get back into the, the 15 for 13 for 24 for 250 yard stuff that we were seeing earlier in the year.
Well, I will also say this, Dave. If you watched this Cincinnati defense on tape, how many times would you tell your quarterback to throw it?
As many times as we snapped the ball. Ollie Gordon got 25 carries. And I'm telling John Rice Plumlee, either you're throwing it or you're running it. And if
one of the two.
If you get that tired, then you can hand it off.
Right. I mean, that's been the secret to UC slowing down UCF in years past is they were able to limit the passing game. And I mean, if I told you the over-under on passing yards for Plumlee in this game is 250, what would you take?
I'd probably take the under because he'll run the ball a bunch.
I mean, I think he threw it for 290 last week.
Yeah, there was a lot. I mean, that would require us to score a lot too to give them a bunch of possessions.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which, I mean, I think if that's the whole thing about our passing game is they can be we will have, I'm expecting another outstanding game running the ball. But if you're down 17 halfway through the third quarter, they're just a bunch of empty calories.
Yeah. I mean, you like against Oklahoma State, you came out, you threw that first pass, you went 50 plus yards, like foot on the gas, man.
Yeah.
Would they run it 3 times after that and kick the field goal that they missed?
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Not much is right now.
Shimon Mateer didn't get a target.
Well, I mean, they only threw the ball 16 times.
I know, but hello,
Oh,
you were in the red zone. Throw it to Shimon.
Yeah.
Second and Shimon.
It seems very it just seems very disjointed, very helter skelter from like a 1 week to the next, or even like one drive to the next.
Well, I mean, we know one thing. Like we talked about as recently as probably last week, that it's like one hole needs plugged and you plug it, and then another one springs a leak, whatever. Here's what we know. This team is not good enough passing the ball, and they're not good enough defending the pass. Period. It starts and ends there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, your run defense is really good, minus Ollie Gordon, who's on a heater. And your run offense is really good. Top 10 in the country. And you're getting abused because you can't throw the ball and you can't defend the pass. And in college football 2023, that is the worst recipe you can have, Dave.
It's not a winning formula. It's no longer, establish the run to set up the pass. I think
I kind of disagree there. You can do that. You can establish the run to set up the pass, but you have to pass it.
You pass to score points, you run to win the game.
Right. Guess what they're not doing, Dave?
Scoring
points. They're moving the ball great between the 20s. Outside of Baylor, look at the point totals. That should tell you all you need to know.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in 2023. It doesn't work in the Big 12.
Well, that's what we said coming into the year. What, one team last year averaged fewer than 30 points a game? That was two teams?
Iowa State.
West Virginia and Iowa State?
Yep.
Or West Virginia just maybe barely over 30 point something? Yeah.
What's this team averaging if you take out Eastern Kentucky? I don't even want to do the math.
I would guess around 20.
That's not even close. It's not even close to doing what you have to do to be competitive in this league. Tell me about Central Florida's defense, Dave.
They can't stop the run.
Can't stop the run. Can't stop the run.
Yeah. And their defensive, I think they've got some good speed defensively. Their defensive backs are pretty small and maybe not small is the right word, but slight.
Yeah.
But if you can't throw it at all, like we've seen over the last how many weeks, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
West Virginia ran for 286. Oklahoma ran for 189. Kansas, we know, ran for 399. Baylor obviously had to throw a lot to come back, ran for 153. And Kansas State ran for 281. So we're more than likely going to run for well into the 200 yards. But do we turn the ball over? Can we do anything in the pass game to complement that?
19.4 is that number without
Yeah.
EKU.
Under 20. Under 20 points a game.
So how do you use maybe their speed against them? How do you use their lack of size against them? Like we have some bigger receivers, and we don't see any back shoulder throws, any just go up and get it. D. Wiggins, just go up and get it, Xavier Henderson. Like, a 10-yard stop route, and I throw it towards the sideline where either it's incomplete or you get it, and you, with your size, you make a play and get the ball.
Yeah.
But
Donovan Ollie, Chris Scott.
Donovan Ollie still does not have a catch. He had 40-something last year as like the third option in a very pass-heavy offense. I give you at Washington State, but like 0 catches. Does he even have a target?
I remember one. Evan Prater.
I mean, the guy blocks his butt off, and I give him credit for that. But
reward the guy that blocks his butt off. Throw him the damn ball every once in a while.
Yeah.
Here's my concern with that, Dave. What is generally the nemesis of an outside zone?
Speed.
It's the only thing UCF's defense has going for it. Speed. Like, that worries me a bit.
Yeah, but I don't think their DBs are quite the type that are wanting to stick their nose in there and make a tackle.
Maybe not, but they're going to be in the spot at least.
Maybe. I mean, they haven't stopped the run against anybody, regardless of what the team has.
I know.
Run scheme is. So
I'm figuring out ways this shit's going to go wrong, Dave.
Well, I already told you how it's going to go wrong. We're not going to stop them offensively, their offense, and it doesn't really matter what we do on offense.
This is an interesting point, Reed. I think I have an observation, what I think. Does the offense not really throw to the middle of the field very often, everything towards the sidelines? I think it is first read, check down, take off. And if you're not willing to stand in there and wait for routes over the middle to develop, you will never throw the ball over the middle. Like, those are not quick decisions.
Yeah, unless it's a slant.
Right.
And they don't seem to run any of those.
Right. I'm talking crossers. I'm talking, inward working routes from tight ends. Like, I don't see them utilizing any of that.
Dragging the tight end all the way across the field and waiting until he clears the backside linebacker.
Right.
Yeah.
That would take Emory Jones having a longer clock. Now, is some of that earned because there's a lot of pressure on him fairly quickly? Yes. But I'm done with that. Like, I'm done with that excuse in terms of that he's never once had time to stand in the pocket and read his progressions the entire season.
Yeah. I mean, part of like, and there, I'm sure there's like a perfectly well thought out explanation for this, but maybe go tempo. Like, maybe not call play, stand there for 20 seconds, then look at the sideline, then like maybe just try to get into a rhythm of like, we're going to go and then we're going to call this play and then whatever happens, and not like overthink it and look at the defense and then give the quarterback another play to run and then, then send.
Now the defense has completely gotten set.
Then send in a sub and give enough with the taking for it. Like, I'm not saying you need to run 90 plays. And I mean, they've ran 90 plays in games without even doing that.
They ran 90 plays in games without scoring a whole lot too.
I'm not saying you to run Josh Heupel's offense, but like maybe that is a thing that maybe there's too much delay. Maybe there's too much thinking of like trying to call the perfect play where just call the damn play. Get 6 yards and run, and get up to the line and call another play and get another 5 yards and then break a run for 15. And like, I don't know. We're literally just throwing shit against the wall because the offense has been such a disaster outside of, especially the last couple of weeks. They've picked it up in the explosive run game. But like, I don't know, man. It's really, really, really hard to be that bad through passing the ball. So maybe any other ideas might be valid to look into.
Yeah. Something. Do something. Change something. Do like go into your bag of tricks. You're an offensive guy. Like try to do something different to keep the other team on their heels and not in a position where you're averaging 19 points a game against FCS competition. 19. Can
you explain this one to me?
Can you? How bad do people want Gino Gaduli and
Mike Denbrock
back now?
Mike Denbrock's quarterback is having quite the year.
They're the number one offense in the country, aren't they?
I mean, he's thrown for like 2,500 yards and run for 500, 700, something like that. 20-something touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
He's also really, really good. So let's not get that part twisted. But can you help me understand this?
Okay, I'll try.
Why is the spread going from UC +5 to UC +3.5?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Like that's a pretty big move from Sunday, Monday to Wednesday. Like usually you don't see that until the money really starts coming in on game day morning.
Yeah, Dave. LSU number 1 in the country in offense, 552 yards per play or per game.
That's cool.
Per game. Yeah. That Denbrock guy sucked at calling offense.
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting, movement in that direction.
Did it make any sense that the Oklahoma State line was what it was?
8 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I got it at 8.
Did that make sense?
I mean, to me it did because I hammered it on Sunday as soon as it came out.
Aaron screwed up, Dave.
I didn't even wait to see if it moved.
You know what Aaron did, right?
I do not.
I told him I'd put his salary for the month on Oklahoma State. And
why did you not give me that option?
Because I knew you would have took it.
That's not fair.
I told Aaron, I'll take your money and I'll put it on Oklahoma State and I'll give the points. And if Oklahoma State wins, you get all of it as your payout this month. And he wouldn't do it.
Money ain't red and black or orange and white. Money's green, man. If I see something that I don't like or I like, it don't matter.
Special teams. Anything about UCF special teams that stands out to you?
I think they have a good kicker.
Who cares?
Like, I don't care. It's not going to come down to a field goal. What are you kidding yourself?
So I take it you're going with the Knights of Gold.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, I think they're able to do enough on offense. And what do you, I guess here's the question. What do you think this Cincinnati team would have to score to win the game?
In the 30s. Can they score in the 30s? I don't think so. They haven't showed us that they can, so why would I think in game 9 or whatever this is that they're all of a sudden going to?
Yeah.
So, show me.
Geoff says if we could just one game the rest of the year.
Oh, I don't disagree. It would be hilarious.
Yeah, it would. And of course, you would hope like we would get one a day like today where the high was 42.
Oh, it's still going to be cold.
It's going to be 60.
Not by the dude. It's going to like when the sun the sun will not be out, and it's going to be cold.
No, that's a 3:30 kickoff. The game will be over by 7.
It'll be in the
sun
40s
will
by the
be
time the
setting.
game's still going on.
But it'll be over by then. At kickoff, it's going to be 60 degrees. They're going to be fine.
No, they'll be. Oh, I'll bet you $1 that they have seat warmers.
Of course, they'll have seat warmers. But instead, like, next weekend, 49, 48, 50, 50, like that's the highs. The high for Saturday and Sunday are going to be the last time it's in the 60s until April around here. And, it just happens to be the Central Florida game.
Yeah.
I'm just saying by the time it's dark
Probably.
and the temperature drops, it's not going to matter.
No, I mean, it shouldn't matter either way, but
yeah, I don't feel great. I will say, practice yesterday, and I can't get into details, was as chippy as I recall it in a long time. Will that amount to anything?
Spirited.
I have no idea. It was spirited. It was spirited. Guys were chirping. Guys were jostling.
Well, maybe they finally gotten tired of getting their teeth kicked in. Take that out on an opponent.
It would be nice to see that carry over into Saturday. But I did see a team that was very chippy yesterday. So maybe it'll play. Simone family tailgate.
I have no idea.
Is your mom here?
I don't know, but I've not been updated on this week yet. I'm just excited, like I said, 50s, 60s, beginning of November. Like, I'll drink some beers outside to that.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at probably you guys will get there about noon?
Yeah.
By that time, like it's going to be sunny, so probably like high 40s, low 50s, and sunny by noon.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's pleasant.
Perfect.
This time of year. And then as the tailgate progresses, it'll be warming up to 60 degrees. Like then that'll get the drinking juices flowing. Like, ooh, it's a little warm.
We always have these weekends in the fall here, though, where they tell you it's going to be a certain temperature, and then the sun never comes out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's 58." You're like, "Absolutely not. It's not 58." Like you guys are, on drugs.
Because I've made mostly cloudy skies.
Because I've made that mistake before, where we're like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be 60." I'm like, "Oh, I'll wear shorts and like a hoodie,"
right.
And then it's not. It's like barely 50. I'm like, "Yeah, that. Thank you."
The good news is the wind looks calmish.
Yeah.
So, only like a 10-mile-an-hour wind. So, yeah, I mean, cloudy 50s, even just cloudy and 50s for November.
I'm fine with it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm very much can't wait because I know the weather will just be atrocious when we go to Morgantown. So, very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm not going.
38 and rainy is my guess right now.
Yeah, I'm not going. You guys can enjoy yourselves.
Oh, I am. It's going to be a blast. So if anybody that listens to this is also going, hit us up. We'll be doing all the college hangouts.
20-year-old Knoxville Dave is coming out for the Morgantown trip.
Oh, it's a fun one.
Yeah,
Last time I was there, well, not last time. One time I was there, we were at a bar and they were giving out free beer until midnight. And then at midnight, they just decided to keep going till they closed.
Why were they giving out free? Like,
Yeah. If you
Somebody pay for it?
No, the bar was just like, yeah, Miller Lite, whatever's free till midnight.
After a win?
No, no, this I don't even know if this was I think it was for
Wasn't even a weekend.
basketball. I think this was maybe even in a basketball game we went. I mean, I was there for the first game they ever sold beer when they played LSU, and LSU had like Honey Badger and those guys. That was a wild time. But yeah, it's a good spot. But yeah, I don't know, like 34 24, 34 17, like I don't know. Not sounding great about this one.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, Dave.
Are you gonna predict us to win?
No.
He's like, absolutely not. What are you?
No.
Crazy?
They're gonna score 24.
Oh, 24. 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Hell yeah.
Oh boy.
What kind of odds can I get on UCF special teams touchdown?
I don't know. You're the gambling guy.
I know. Feels like something might happen there.
Just a spidey sense.
Yeah. But it is what it is. We only got 4 weeks left. I always say that the college football season goes way too fast, and even with the losing, this one has gone
way too fast.
Just unbelievably fast. I mean, we're in
week 9, or week 10.
It's insane.
Game 9.
Absolutely insane.
I feel
we're 6 weeks from like signing day.
That was one of the points that I was making recently about the quarterback situation. We're a month from player acquisition season.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4.5, 5 weeks, whatever. Like we are right there.
I mean, once the regular season's over.
Yeah.
If a team's not, it doesn't even really matter if they're still playing. Like dudes can portal whenever they want, really.
Right?
I guess the window has to open unless you're a grad student, but
yeah, but I mean guys are gonna start entering, whether they are allowed to or not. Guys are gonna start making it known.
Oh yeah, behind the scenes, I'm going to
portal
the portal.
Opens, I am going to be in the portal, and there is going to be movement behind the scenes at all. You know how that goes. Guys are going to be handlers are already making calls, so to speak. All right, let's timestamp that. That timestamp brought to you by Turtles Brew. 6% ABV, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, gluten-free, bourbon-infused sweet tea. Lemonade tea, cherry lime, raspberry peach, orange vanilla. There are over 50 locations in Greater Cincinnati. Visit turtlesbrew.com for more information and location. A portion of the proceeds go to save the sea turtles. Everybody loves the sea turtles. It's in Cincinnati, Toledo, and expanding now in Central Ohio. So there you go. Schedules, future schedules, Dave. Conference opponents released.
Is this brought to you by Home Field?
But I'll wait one segment on that. We'll space it out a little bit. Conference schedules released through 2027. No permanent rivalry games for the Bearcats. They get UCF 3 times. They get West Virginia 3 times in a 4-year window. But I guess the main thing is essentially you play everybody in the conference home and away over a 4-year slot. I kind of like it. You're muted. You're still muted.
Yeah, there's two, I guess, ways to look at this, and I'm not sure either one is necessarily right or wrong. You know, you have the side of like, hey, we haven't really had any rivals because of the way the AAC was. It would have been nice to have West Virginia as a permanent rival. And then there's the side of like, we're in this new conference with all these new teams. Let's play all of them, you know, as often as we possibly can. As these conferences expand and expand, I fall on that side because, like, as a Tennessee fan also, it's always annoyed me that it's like, so we're going to add these teams to the conference, but we're going to keep divisions, or we're going to do pods, or they haven't even decided
XYZ,
exactly.
right, whatever.
And then we're going to get like one game in Neyland Stadium against Texas and Oklahoma like every 8 years.
Right. Like what?
Like,
why
what's
expand the conference?
Right. Then why bring these teams in if you're going to tell me, oh, I get to see them one time, you know, and it's in 2035? Like,
Will is going to be a junior in high school, and you'll have seen Texas play at Neyland Stadium once.
right. So it's like I like the element of like, let's get these teams to, and then maybe some rivalries come about that way.
Right.
Versus trying to necessarily force them, because a lot of these teams don't have, you know, whether they're, you know, none of the AAC teams and the Pac-12 teams have any rivals with the Big 12
There's only
teams.
one thing I saw that was kind of egregious today.
Yeah, Kansas State, or Kansas State, Iowa State.
Iowa State not making that like
Yeah.
a protected rivalry. Those people are big man. Like
And I saw, like,
I want to go to Farmageddon now.
Ralph Russo,
because of how passionate those people are about it.
Yeah, Ralph Russo from the AP. I mean, I saw he tweeted about, you know, like he thought maybe the UC West Virginia thing would have been one as well.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Outside of the Big 12 window or the Big East window, that's not a storied rivalry. It's not something that dates back decades. Like, yeah, it makes sense from a regional, a logistical standpoint, but there's nothing about me that's like, oh, so, you know, this is the year that we don't play West Virginia. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I won't think twice. When that season starts, I won't think twice. Or like, even when that cycle starts and we get to like spring ball and into the summer, I won't think once about, sucks we're not playing West Virginia this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I might think it about Central Florida just because it's, you know, it's such a fun internet like thing.
Is it?
Like, yeah, like it's whatever. Like, you know, the rivals UCF guy tried to shit on UC yesterday because of their BSN deal, and then today it comes out that the real deal is done. That was bad timing for that guy.
Did you like my comment?
Yeah. But, you know, like that one at least is just fun online. Like it just kills time and like it's fun to goof around. But I'm not gonna care.
No.
I don't care. So it's fine. Whatever you want to do with us, fine. At your mercy.
I just want to win games and play teams that give a shit. That's what we've talked about for how long. And so it's like, if we're not playing West Virginia or UCF, but we're playing Kansas State and Utah, then those are two really strong, you know, programs, and I'll be more than fine with that. I was at a excuse me, lost my voice recently, but I was at No, still haven't, as you can tell. I was at what the cool people now would call a summit today, a work summit.
A work summit.
Yes.
Is that any relation to Pat?
No relation to Pat Head Summit.
Can you give me your thoughts on the blue Tennessee uniform?
I don't even know what I was at a work summit. I don't have any idea what Tennessee's blue uniforms look like.
Aaron, can you bring up a picture of those for Dave?
Is this for football?
Yeah.
This week? Against UConn?
It's a Pat Summit tribute uniform.
Oh, okay. So I don't even know without having to look it up. Like, who are our schedule next year? Who are we playing?
Oh, now I have to pull it up. Hold on a second.
The Blue Unis didn't even make the Vols group text thread today, so I really haven't seen them.
It was actually, I think it came out yesterday. At home next year, Arizona State, TCU, Houston, and West Virginia.
Okay.
On the road, Colorado, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Iowa State, UCF.
All right. I'd like to let's see, maybe our road trip next year, the Little Apple, maybe.
I've been there once. It was a fun little town. I was on my way to Vegas to deliver my friend's car to his wedding as his wedding gift.
I like the college towns. Not necessarily the colleges that are in a big town. I like so maybe either that or Lubbock. Oh, that's
Aaron. No.
Quite a decal.
The Tennessee blue uniforms.
But no, I mean,
I heard you talking about uniforms. I didn't know we were talking about Tennessee.
Yeah, if you would have been listening, you would have known we were talking about Tennessee. They're interesting, Dave. I don't know that like a light baby blue goes with orange. And there's no blue in the helmet.
Oh, they're just wearing blue socks and wristbands?
No, the jersey, the uniform, that's blue.
Oh, not what I'm seeing.
There you go.
Oh, that is the real uniform?
That's what they're wearing. Yeah.
No, don't love it. Don't love the checkers. Looks like Kentucky. Looks like Kentucky's generic ass uniforms. No, that's ugly.
I figured you would not be a fan. Keegan, it actually came out yesterday. Keegan and I were at the press conference when it came out, and we were both like, "Ooh, Dave's not going to be happy about that one."
Yeah, well, they're playing UConn. No one will see it anyway, so it's fine.
What streaming service is the UConn game on?
I think it's on SEC Network, so you could. Okay. It's noon. No one. 35-point favorites. They'll be gone forgotten by 2:30.
Yeah, I saw Houston got a cease and desist from the NFL on their Houston Oilers themed uniforms.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not allowed to the intellectual prop. They were actually the Tennessee Oilers.
Yeah, they own that.
I mean,
Yeah.
All right. Basketball. AG Attorney General Yost was on with Bill Cunningham today.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Apparently, they are just waiting on a ruling from the NCAA. They say they expect it this week. I don't trust the NCAA, so I don't expect it this week. If it happens this week, okay. But I don't know that I trust we'll have both.
So let's
verdicts by.
I mean, and maybe a lawyer can answer this, or maybe he answered it on the interview. So let's say they deny the appeal, and then then they sue them. Can they get an injunction that would allow him to play while the lawsuit is ongoing?
Yes.
And then just take 2 years to finalize the lawsuit, and then he just plays and goes to the pros.
So John Cunningham was on with Mo today, and I found it interesting that he made it public that both Aziz and Jamil have lawyered up.
Have representation.
So I don't think you lawyer up unless you are anticipating your next move if the appeal is denied.
Right. Here's what we're going to do when the
opinion.
appeal is denied. Then
Right.
This is what's going to happen when we do this. And we're laying this out for you guys so you can see like the progression of all of this.
Right. The other piece that I thought was interesting from Yost was that he talked about partnering with other attorney generals around the country to file a joint lawsuit against the NCAA for antitrust.
It's just, like, to me, it just gets to the point, like, does the NCAA just want to
Class action?
Class action.
Does the NCAA just want to keep having these things happen every it ultimately goes back to my original point of why don't you just let these damn kids like play? Who gives a shit?
Your mom is apparently 30 minutes behind.
That's all right.
Pinwheel sandwiches and an abundance of Jello shots.
So I'll just be having like a lot of Jello shots and beers.
Yeah.
Sprinkle in a Sammy here and there.
Maybe I'll see if I can whip something up.
I mean, if you already know that you're like all these kids are getting lawyers and everything, like why don't you just like be like, this is a pointless exercise for all of us, and let's maybe have a understanding that we're going to let this stuff go this year, and then we're going to re-examine how we truly do this moving forward, because I don't disagree, and the coaches are the ones that have asked for it. Like,
sure,
we sit here and joke and like say, let's just have it be a free-for-all. I get that there's probably some very valid reasons why it doesn't benefit them to have a free-for-all literal in the literal sense. But like, no one is winning in this situation. Like, no one is sitting there going, thank God the NCAA has really put their foot down.
Right.
And no one is saying, good on these kids. It's a lose-lose for everybody.
Right. It's not great, Bob. It's not great.
So I mean, I would sue them into Bolivian and get an injunction and see you Monday night, Aziz.
I don't know if you can get one that quick, but I think what they're doing, and I think it's the right move, they are waiting for the NCAA's next move. And if you deny the waiver, if you deny the appeals, then there's no holding back. Like, I don't think it makes sense to go on the aggressive until you have those rulings.
Well, there's really nothing that they wouldn't be going on the aggressive against anything at this point. You'd basically be showing up the NCAA and making it probably harder on yourself than it needs to be.
Right.
So yeah, let them do their thing or whatever, and then just say, okay, you did your thing. Now we're going to do ours.
Yeah. Here's a 6-state antitrust.
Because I just find, like, if you really wanted to get down in the dirt, I just don't see a way that, like, kind of like how Wes has said, like, he fully expects them to play. Because, like, if you really want to get down in the mud, we'll get down in the mud. And they will at some point play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when is that?
Exactly.
And how many different things does that have to go through? I can't answer that. I have no idea. But at some point, if somebody really wanted to take them on to the nth degree, they will eventually play.
if you want to go foot on the gas, you can go foot on the gas. That's just the reality of it. And then finally, the Business Journal reports that Cincinnati has come to terms with Nike and Jordan brand. Jordan brand will be the apparel brand for men's and women's basketball. Nike will handle the rest of the university, football, and all of the Olympic sports. I don't want to be the I told you so guy, Dave. I really don't. But there's a lot of people that doubted me back in May when this story hit. And I tried to make it very clear that the only reason that they were doing the BSN situation was because the Nike deal wasn't done yet, because Nike was dealing with supply chain issues and not in a place to add another program into the fold while they were dealing with what they were dealing with. And UC then had one of two choices. Have BSN provide Under Armour gear, or have BSN provide Nike and Jordan gear, while they continued to finalize this deal. And people took shots at me. They said very mean things about my credibility. They said very mean things about the business that we have all built, and that we were just running interference for the University of Cincinnati, and that what we were saying was not true. And I just want to tell all those people to kiss my ass.
Kiss his ass.
We knew what was going on. We knew all of the behind the scenes. We knew exactly. It was a story I've been tracking for like a year.
I just find it amusing that there are people, and I'll use people plural, peoples, not affiliated in one way or another, zero affiliation with the university, that are very, very concerned about UC's apparel contract and the details of it.
I get it if they were right. If like,
I don't get it, period. Do you think I'm concerned about anyone else's apparel contracts?
Listen. I get it if truly what their belief was that UC went to market and Nike and Adidas said, no, we're good. Like, we're not interested in your brand. And then UC's only option was to go to BSN. There were people that genuinely believed that.
Right, but I don't
know why.
Was based on zero information.
Right. And my belief was based on hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of behind the scenes conversations about what was happening and why. Like, for the longest time, the question was, why are we not at the finish line yet? Because if you don't get to the finish line soon, you're not going to have uniforms for this year, which is ultimately why they had to say, okay, we're going to continue talking to Nike and Jordan, and mostly Nike, because Jordan was done a long time ago. You just can't be Jordan in basketball and not Nike and everything else. Nike doesn't allow that to happen. Like, I think that's another thing that people don't understand is there's no chance Nike is going to let somebody go Jordan in basketball and Adidas in football. Let's just say, like, no, that's never going to happen. So, but I don't understand why people genuinely believed that UC had been shunned and that nobody wanted them. And because of that, they had to go the route of a high school and go do a BSN deal. No, that was never the case. The case was they had to have clothes to wear in games this year.
I did like the BSN guy chiming in.
Yeah. Like, I
I
didn't make
just
fun of anybody today. I haven't named any names. It's just a generalization. I took a lot of shit in May for people that didn't believe what I was saying.
yeah, it's very funny to me that you are concerned to that type of a level
Well,
about.
I think they just want to make fun of, like, their rivals. They want to make fun of UC. They saw that as a way to make fun of UC. It was just wrong. It was wrong.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I'm not sure the
Look,
jokes are that hilarious when it comes to
here's
uniforms and contracts and like.
here's the other thing, Dave. If you have followed us for long enough, you will know I don't speculate. If I say something, I, by and large, know what I'm saying. I don't do rumors. We don't do like the boarding house. Is that the Ohio State thing where they have an article every day about every rumor that everyone on their staff hears?
No
I
idea.
I'm just saying, like, we
Yeah.
don't operate that way. We operate in what we know. And if we don't know for sure, you know what we don't do? We don't say it. Because we don't know for sure yet. And when we do know for sure, we talk about it. And we talked about it. That should tell you that we had a pretty damn good understanding of what was happening behind the scenes with UC and Nike and Jordan.
Yeah. I mean, it's close.
If you need to get your jokes off to be proven wrong down the road, go ahead. But
it was amazing. It was amazing timing by Buddy, though.
Yeah, the UCF dude trying to start that shit yesterday was outstanding. And then boom, like it was like 12 hours later that the Biz Journal story hit.
That dude he's a weird cat.
But he ate it. He ate it though. I'll give him credit. He was I was just trying to.
He did.
He was like, look, man, I was just trying. It's rivalry week. I was just trying to like troll and start some shit. And it would have been real nice if they waited a week or two for that story to come out instead of the next fucking thing. Like he was a good sport about it. He was like, can you imagine waking up to that? Like a day after you start that shit.
Unlike Midwest hoops guy who continues to think that he knows everything over everything.
Oh, is that guy still going? I muted him a long time ago.
Hard.
On UC? He's still attacking UC?
All day today about the uniforms and how it's a joke. And I don't even know, man.
Yeah, someone in the tweet I put out, it has one comment, and it was about like, because I said what I said about, and it was directed to the UCF guy because that's the only thing I saw yesterday. Yeah. And someone asked like, what about the Norwood guy or something? And I didn't say anything because I was busy, but I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I'm thinking like, who is he talking about? Like, I have no idea. Oh, I didn't know if he was talking about Rick, if he was talking about this person that Aaron just mentioned, who I have no idea who that is either.
Rick, somebody said basically, like, put on his board, I don't know who it was. It was an Xavier guy, I guess, that like, this is what's going on. They're in negotiations with Nike, but it's not done yet. And Rick was just basically like, no, you're absolutely wrong. I talked to people in the shoe industry, and they said that's not how things work.
Oh, okay. So the real insiders know that, like, I don't read really
anybody else.
Well, no, any mentions like in our Twitter feed. Right. Like, people probably think I'm like an ass for never responding, but I just, most of the time they're, if they're emotional responses, what am I going to say that's going to like, calm you down or change your mind or think that, so I just don't even read them. So like there could have been people, saying stuff and I'd be like, I don't even know who that guy is.
I mean, you and Aaron have to be proud of me. I have not argued with anybody on Twitter in weeks. We
should keep a tally, a board behind you.
So
How many
You're
days
gonna have
has
to
it-
wait.
How many days has it been since?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to wait until I do it once,
And then
and
start from
then
there.
the next day is
Right, because
cereal.
we have no idea right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm allowed. I in that scenario, I would still be allowed to like mess with people a little bit, right?
Uh, you're messing with people and other people's.
It's been 0
definition of
days without a
messing.
Chad Twitter incident.
I love it.
It's been 0
Aaron-
days since someone has texted me on the side asking if Chad's okay.
We'll have our
Apparently
own.
the
We'll have our
answer
own
is I
boards,
wasn't.
Dave.
I wasn't okay at that point in time. I was.
No, and I understood that, and there were still times where I'd be like, "Dude, like just step away from the phone for a minute, man. Like, go smoke a pack of cigarettes, but just don't tweet for 5 minutes."
Same.
Like all 20 of them lined up
Because
right to the dome.
guess what? You're done doing those tweets. You still don't feel any better. So
No, sometimes I felt better. Sometimes I needed to. So there was a lot of venting that was bottled up in me over the last 6 years. Sometimes I felt better. I'm not gonna
see how just the aura that it gives you to just be like, I could say something funny. I could say something, but like, I get the bigger thrill, and I don't have to deal with it nearly as much as you have. But
No,
my bigger thrill is when someone says something and they are just dying to get a response so that they can say the next thing, and you just don't say anything, and it makes it seem like you're not even acknowledging that they
there's a lot of people, like I've muted a lot of people that I know. Like I know if I don't mute this person, I'm gonna fight. Like I'm gonna fight. So I'll just mute them, and I won't see it. And if I don't see it, then I won't get worked up.
See, I like seeing it and laughing because it's comic entertainment for me to like, oh, I could say something good here, but I'm not even going to because like you want.
I can't avoid that. I can't. If I got a chance to make a funny, I go for it
because they want to fight, and I'm
Right.
just laughing.
Right. That was almost always the case, but now it's just better. I just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go.
So when's our first hoops game?
Monday night, 9 p.m.
Monday. Oh, just on Monday nighter at 9. That's fun.
It's men's and women's doubleheader. Women at 6, men at 9.
Fun. Are you going to both?
Yeah. I still have a child that I have to care for, so I'm not sure.
I hope we play really well in the first half, because I got no interest in watching the second half of a UIC game at 10:30 at night on a Monday.
Yeah. Do I still think Perry commits next week? I think Travis Perry commits before the end of the signing period, which goes from a week from tonight is the start of the signing period. It goes for a week. So I think it's going to be next week, but I'm not betting my life on that. I just, from everything I've heard, the intention is to sign early. So sometime in a window of 7 days that begins next Wednesday. We'll go from there. All right, it's going to wrap it up. I don't have anything else to you.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well,
The whole last half hour was brought to you, though, by Home Field.
oh, yeah. Dave, bomber jacket, Monday.
I did see that today.
Thanks, Aaron. Sorry. Anyhow, code BCJ23 at checkout, homefieldapparel.com. Monday. I can't wait to see what it's going to be. It can't just be a sea ball, right? It's got to be like a Bearcat head or the dunking Bearcat. Like their thing is retro design.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something. You know what? Have you seen the red Angry Bearcat?
I don't know.
You know the gray Angry Bearcat? Ah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They have one in the basketball media room on one of the backdrops.
Oh, okay.
That's all red. And that thing is fire. Fire.
For those that have not purchased their apparel, it runs kind of small.
What did you get the brand small? The hoodies don't.
The hoodie,
small, I don't think.
my hoodie,
really?
My Tennessee one, yeah.
The UC ones I've gotten have been fine. Aaron?
Well,
maybe you're just running big, Dave.
oh, I'm certainly that. Like, we're not
Maybe
pulling.
This isn't a home field problem.
No,
we're not in college anymore, Dave.
it's not like I have other hoodies that are not, the same size or whatever. But yeah, we're not running small. That's for sure.
Oh shit! But yeah, I'm super excited. UC and X have home field launches on Monday the 6th. Bomber jackets is nobody else does them. Like that's the fun thing about like that from home field is they're not afraid to do some stuff. They'll do
the Charlie Hustle does them.
Do they?
Yeah, they did the one that Jerome Tang wore at Media Day. That was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Charlie Hustle doesn't have Cincinnati rights yet.
No,
they have almost all the Big 12 schools, not Cincinnati yet.
But I'm talking like quarter zips.
What color do we think they're going to be? Black?
I would guess black, but I would prefer red.
Black with red and white cuffs?
Yeah, probably. And something either gray or...
I'm going to get one and put my last name on the back like it's my varsity jacket.
I love it. I love it. That would be outstanding. All right. Yeah. Homefieldapparel.com.
What, 15% off?
BCJ23, 15% off of the bomber jacket when it drops on Monday. I am super excited to see what it looks like.
Did you say Xavier's has some too?
Well, that's like the thing they're doing like their basketball launch, and the basketball launch on Monday is UC Xavier.
So they made like 10 of those, I assume.
Yeah. At least 14.
It's a Midwest launch.
Yeah.
Can we get some for us?
I highly doubt they're sending us bomber jackets.
Even if they did, you'd never have it on the show. You don't even put the team ticker up, Dave.
I'd wear it on the show. I would.
If you got the right size.
Yeah. I'm wearing a hoodie right now. I could throw a jacket on.
You could wear a home field hoodie during the podcast.
I don't have any. I don't have any UC ones.
You have a Tennessee one?
I do.
You could wear that. Listen, people get pissed off because you got a Tennessee hoodie on during the show.
How's they wearing a Tennessee shirt on a UC podcast? I'm like, you're not
okay, look.
I'll wear whatever you want me to wear if you're paying me.
Look, I'm gonna make a deal. If we get to the end and like the Kansas week and they still haven't won, you wear your Tennessee home field, I'll wear my UCLA home field. And we'll just set everybody off.
We'll just talk about no UC things.
Yeah, we'll just shoot the shit.
That'll be a popular episode.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up. Thanks to Dave. Thanks to Turtles Brew. Thanks to Home Field. Thanks to the Holy Grail. Thanks to Team Ticker. We will we'll see you next week. Hopefully after a win, please, God, please. This is the Holy Grail BCJ podcast, right here on BearcatJournal.com.